Hello Nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another edition of the Underhive Wars. This is a series of Necromunda battle reports for our Sector 7 Dominion campaign, and this is battle report number 25. It is fought between Sister Serial as well as myself. Sister Serial is bringing Precinct 13 to the Adeptus Arbites Enforcers, and I'm playing the Jury of House Cawdor. So, my friend Sister Serial, she is playing Enforcers. Now, these rules that we're using for the Enforcers are the Venator rules that were published in the Book of Perils, the latest, one of the latest books released by the Games Workshop for the Necromunda campaign series. So we are aware that within the next few weeks, Games Workshop has released the Book of Law, which gives you a more detailed account about Enforcers. So we'll be using those rules when the time comes after my friends and I have looked over the rules and start using it for a campaign. So if you're wondering how come we're still using Venator rules for those guys, for these Enforcers, that's the reason why. Anyways, we're playing a shootout scenario. It's an oldie but goodie. It's one that's a very fan favorite for us on our channel here, as well as for my gaming group and I. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. We'll talk about it. If you guys want to see exactly what the gangs are bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So with that being said, let's get the battle report on a roll. Alright, so let's go talk about the scenario rules for this one. This one is called Shootout. The objective is to try to keep your cool, and if not, kill the other gang in a final blaze of glory in a shootout style. Both gangs earn D3 plus 1 fighters, in this case 3 fighters for each side for both Sister Serial as well as myself. And pretty much what ends up happening is that you march forward towards each other 3 inches at a time, and each time that you do, you take a cool check. The first gang to break 6 of the cool checks fail the shootout. They start doing a quick draw phase, they shoot it out, and they move on to a normal game of Necromunda afterwards. For the rewards on this one, you earn D6 times 5 credits for each enemy fighter that you take out of action. For experience, each participant earns 1 point of experience point and plus 1 point for experience for any fighter who didn't lose their cool in the shootout. For reputation, plus reputation for each gang fighting for each other for the very first time, since Precinct 13 and Cawdor are fighting for each other for the very first time, they both get 1 point of reputation. And the gang that drew second gains a number of reputation points equal to the difference between the cool chests that they failed, as well as 6. So with the rules over with, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and talk about the battle plan on this one. Alright, so let's go and talk about the battle plan real quick. So on this scenario, when we rolled up on the table to see exactly what scenario Sister Serial and I will play, we rolled an 11 on that one. So because of that, she got to choose what scenario she wanted to do. Now, considering she only has 10 members of her gang and I have like 18, she decided to do Shootout because then it's a little bit more advantageous to her as well. Because Venators have a better cool score than Cawdor gangs do, so because of that, she decided to go with that and kind of play with their strengths. Then we rolled for our fighter. She rolled D2 plus 1, so because of that, she got 3 fighters on her side, and I ended up rolling 3 fighters on my side as well. So because that's 3 and 3 on combat, so we're kind of facing each other down. As for the battle plan, there really isn't a battle plan on this one because for the most part, we're just marching towards each other until the shootout happens, so there is no real battle plan because after the shootout occurs, it's just, try to survive as best you can. So with the battle plan over with, we go directly to the deployment on this one. So for the battle plan for this one, let's talk about deployment real quick for Precinct 13. They have 3 judges on this one. On the very top, that is Judge Drake. He's an Enforcer champion. He's got Mesh Armor Maul as well as a Heavy Stubborn. He's also got Bulging Bicep skill as well. In the middle is Judge Fear, that is an Enforcer Sergeant who's the leader of this gang. He's got Carapace Armor, a Maul, as well as a Bolt Gun. He's got Commanding Presence as well as a Trick Shot ability. And then finally there on the bottom, that is Judge Gosling. He's also Enforcer. He's got Mesh Armor, a Shotgun with Solid and Scatter Shot, as well as a Maul. He's also got a House Orlok Legacy as well, because usually he's, palling around with a Sever Massif called the Interceptor. But the Interceptor is not on this one because that's all they have. So these are the 3 fighters that Sister Serial will be using for her shootout. And let's go talk about the 3 gangers that I'm bringing for this one. So on the very top there, that is Mondo. He is a ganger who's armed with flak armor, a reclaimed autogun, as well as a maul. Right beneath him in the middle, that is Scorpion. He's a champion. He's got flak armor, a grenade launcher with frag as well as crack grenades, a drop rig as well as a reclaimed autogun as well. He's also got the bulging bicep skill. And then right beneath him, that is Reptile. He's a juvie who's armed with flak armor, a stub gun with dum-dum rounds, as well as a maw. And that pretty much makes up my 3-man team that we're using for this one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. We're going to show you exactly each of the turns as our two gangs advance towards each other towards this quick draw. As you guys are watching the photos, you'll notice white dice behind each of the fighters. That represents the number of cool tests that they have failed. And the first game that fails 6 cool tests starts the quick draw phase. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll play some background music real quick. Go on and watch the next couple of turns. That way you see exactly how the cool tests roll. So with that being said, let's take a walk down the Lonely Mile and head for the quick draw. Alright, so that takes us directly to the quick draw phase. I ended up failing my 6 cool tests. Because of that, I start off the quick draw. If you notice, we have colored dice between each of the fighters. The pink dice represent how many points they failed their initiative test by, because how it goes is by initiative test order. Yellow represents the bonuses that they have in terms of how much they successfully passed their initiative test, while no dice represents the fact they just passed their initiative test at the base level. So in the shootout order, it will go with Judge Fear first, followed by Reptile. After that, we'll go with Judge Drake will go next, and then after that, it's a 3-way shootout between Judge Gosling as well as Scorpion as well as Mondo. So that being said, we go directly to the top of the shootout with Judge Fear leading the shooting. Alright, so that takes us directly to the shooting phase. As you can see here, Judge Fear opened up with his bolt gun directly into Reptile, put an out cold injury result on him. So because of that, Reptile does go out of action, but luckily for him though, I rolled an out cold result, so because that makes a full recovery, he's just out of this battle report right now. So chalk first blood up to Precinct 13. Alright, after that we start off with Judge Drake, as Judge Drake is to go next, and he opened up with his heavy stubber directly into Scorpion. Managed to hit him 3 times. Not only did he manage to hit him 3 times as well, he also managed to wound him, I think, twice is what he ended up doing. In the end, when he rolled for the injury rolls, he rolled seriously injured for Scorpion, so Scorpion goes face down and he's bleeding out for the count. Which could be really bad for me, because if I don't manage to take the initiative at the end of the shootout, anybody who charges into him can finish him with the coup de grace, and that'd be the end of Scorpion. He automatically goes out of action. So things are not looking very good for me at the same time. While we're at it, Judge Gosling as well as Mondo are next, and since they both have exactly the same initiative score, they'll be shooting out simultaneously at the same time. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Enforcers, and the Enforcers managed to take the initiative on this one. And in the previous shootout, I did have Mondo target Judge Fear. I did manage to hit him once with his autogun, but because I didn't wound, Judge Fear just gets pinned as all ends up happening. However, Judge Gosling opened up with a solid slug directly into Mondo, actually put him down as well with a serious injury, so he's laying on the ground now just kind of bleeding out as well, which is pretty bad because turn number 1 goes directly to the Enforcers. So all the Enforcers have to do is charge directly into my fighters, put it the coup de grace, and they'll be finished off without a heartbeat. So you can see in this photo, Judge Drake goes first, and because he's a champion, he can also activate Judge Gosling. So Judge Drake charges directly into Mondo and manages to finish him off with the coup de grace. Not only does he manage to put him out of action, he actually puts a critical injury onto Mondo. So because I'll need to roll up to see what happens to him at the end of the scenario to see if I spend money to save him, or risk him losing him or getting an injury of some sort. So because of that, Mondo goes out of action, net a second kill for Precinct 13. And because Judge Drake finished off Mondo so quickly, he does a 3-inch follow through and goes directly into Scorpion, which is pretty rough for me. And Sister Serial charges it with Judge Gouging, putting a coup de grace and a grievous injury onto Scorpion as well, putting him directly out of action. So he doesn't have any permanent injuries, but he will miss out his next battle report because he's in recovery. And with that, that takes directly to the end of the game, with the Enforcers or Precinct 13 taking the win on this one and just totally wiping the board with my gangers against her judges. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post game and talk about exactly what happened to each of the gangs, because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, so that takes us directly to the post game. We'll talk about exactly what happened to my gang, the Jury. So I had 3 injuries on this one because 3 of my guys went out of action. Scorpion suffered a grievous injury, so he will miss his next battle because he's in recovery. Mondo suffered a critical injury as well, and so instead of spending money to actually heal him, I decided to take my chances on the injury table for him and see exactly what happened to him. So I rolled a d6 result, I rolled a 5, which means that his critical injury turns into a permanent injury instead. He suffered a hand injury as a result and loses 1 to his weapon skill, and he also goes into recovery for a turn, and he too will miss out on his next battle report. Reptile, on the other hand, he got an out cold result, so he makes a full recovery with no complications. For advancements, Reptile leveled up to level 2, earning +1 to his cool stat, which could be helpful in future battle reports. For my territories, for my first settlement, I earned 1 point of reputation as well as 40 credits. For my old ruins, I scored 20 credits on that one, thanks to the +1 up from my Dome Runner Pig Killer for helping me with that bonus. For my Slag Furnace, I netted 10 credits. For my Archaeo Tech Device, I earned none because, it only doesn't give you any credits. And for my second settlement, I earned a 2nd point of reputation. I also recruited 1 brand new Juve and also got 20 credits from that as well. During the merchant phase, I managed to score 90 credits for my territories, and with that money, for my brand new Juvie that I recruited from my second settlement, I named him Tango, and I equipped him with a reclaimed auto pistol, as well as a maul, as well as flak armor. And then in order to balance out my gang to make sure I have enough gangers in my gang, I recruited a new ganger named Darrow. I equipped him with a reclaimed auto gun as well as a maul, and he's also got flak armor as well. I took my 5 remaining credits and I put those in the stash. For my reputation, I earned 2 points for my settlement as well as 1 point for fighting against Precinct 13 for the very first time, and that nets my total reputation to 21 points. My new record now is at 4 wins and 1 loss, so I'm no longer unbeatable. I've suffered my first loss, and my new gang rating now is at 1,865 points. So finally, we go to the victors of the scenario, which is Precinct 13. They suffered no injuries whatsoever, so there's no injuries there. For advancements, Judge Fear leveled up to level 3, earning +1 to his cool score. Judge Drake also leveled up to level 3, learning the Berserker skill, and Judge Gosling also leveled up to level 2, earning +1 to his Ballistic skill. From their territories, from their settlement, they earned 1 point of reputation as well as 20 credits, and since we're using the new Venator rules from the Book of Peril book, they decided to secure another piece of territory, which was a Bone Shrine. And with that Bone Shrine, they also scored 25 credits from that. So from the merchant, they earned 75 credits from the scenario as well as 35 credits from their territories, earning them a grand total of 110 credits in all. With that 110 credits, they purchased a suspensor for Judge Drake, so that way he can move and fire his heavy bolter, and they also got armored undersuits for both Judge Darko as well as Judge Cold. For the reputation, they earned 2 points from the scenario as well as 1 from their settlement, earning them a grand total of 16 reputation points in total. Their new record now is at 3 wins and 2 losses, and the new gang rating is at 1,800 points. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest news about the hobby aspect of our channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.